Are you waking up in the night between 3 and 5 a.m. with ruminating thoughts of wondering about your self-worth? Maybe you're reflecting on things that have happened in your past or things that have just recently you've done or something that was done to you and it's keeping you up at night. Are you feeling these different energetic shifts in your body? It might show up as headaches or old body aches or exhaustion or just feeling frustrated and a little bit irritable where you normally were irritable before. We wonder why our libidos are low. We wonder why we have rage. We wonder why we have endometriosis and pain in our wombs and imbalanced irregulation of hormones. We wonder why. And it's because our bodies are screaming. Welcome to the Danette May Show, where you'll receive profound breakthroughs, courage to break old patterns, and live into your soul's purpose. Each week, I will bring you epic guests and live coaching to remind you of your power. You have the ability to achieve extraordinary things, and the time to start is now. Hey, my loves. I just want to do an episode with you here on the Danette May Show that is just you and me driving in my car, going on a road trip. This is where some of my best conversations, my best thinking is in the car. I'm wondering if you're the same. And I just felt really called as I'm driving to just drop in and pretend you're next to me in the passenger seat. And we're having a candid conversation about what we may be feeling and experiencing at this time and how do we navigate these feelings, because I want to describe some feelings right now and let me know, do you feel this too? Are you waking up in the night between 3 and 5 a.m. with ruminating thoughts of wondering about your self-worth? Maybe you're reflecting on things that have happened in your past or things that have just recently you've done or something that was done to you and it's keeping you up at night. Are you feeling these different energetic shifts in your body? It might show up as headaches or old body aches or exhaustion or just feeling frustrated and a little bit irritable where you normally were irritable before. It's like certain conversations or certain things that are said or done, you're like, wow, this is really starting to irritate me. I want to just bring light and information to all of this if this is some of the stuff you're feeling, because you're not alone. And especially if you are a woman listening to this and you're 35 years or older, and granted, we've got some old souls on the planet that are just being born and some are in their teens. I've got two daughters that are teens and they are definitely on the same wavelength. So it's not just, I think it's anyone that's kind of tuned into any energy is feeling this, but especially the women that are turning into what I call their crone. And these women are going what we call perimenopause and menopause, which that word is so interesting, right? Perimenopause, pausing the men, pausing the patriarch. It's not to say that men are bad, but we have been living a life governed primarily by the energy and the flow of men. Men, the masculine, hustle culture, more we can get done. I'm a multitasking kind of freak. I love multitasking. Women are known for their multitasking abilities, but at what expense? We take on so much more than we were ever designed to. Listen to this. Most of us, we wake up and the first thing we do when we hit the ground running is think about all the things that we have to do that day, from running kids to and fro, checking on elderly family, going into work, to managing the household. Some of you are working jobs, taking care of family, and managing a house all in one. Whereas a lot of times in older civilizations, you would have one job, not all three. And we're still hearing these sirens of noise around hustle, hustle more. If you want to be successful, do more, say more, speak more, amplify more. It's like, when does it stop? And then we wonder why our libidos are low. We wonder why we have rage. We wonder why we have endometriosis and pain in our wombs and imbalanced irregulation of hormones. We wonder why. And it's because our bodies are screaming. They're screaming at us. We have almost driven ourselves into this masculine and forgotten about this feminine flow within us, this part of us that asks for pause, asks for this pause so that we can hear our intuition, asks for more silence, more slow down, more ease, eating more pleasurable food versus eating less food, moving our bodies slower and with intention versus grinding in the hit workouts. Trust me, I'm a fitness trainer. I used to drive people in hit workouts, and that would work when you were in your 20s. It won't work now. It doesn't, it backfires on you. Your cortisol spikes, and therefore you hold on to inflammation, you get injured, you get inflammation, and then you're wondering why you're not seeing results. The body is screaming at us to listen, and these bodies are antennas, and they're always giving us information. Our rage, our anger is sacred. It's just information that we're saying yes when we want to say no, that we're people pleasing, that we're self abandoning, and whatever might be happening needs to stop. And we don't have to get into a whole big rage, but use that boiling inside of yourself as a temperature monitor of truth, of saying, hey, no more of this. Where do I get to shift these patterns? Where do I get to remove myself from certain people or certain situations because it's making me angry? We might be going, wow, my libido is low. If you are scrolling social media and you are turning on your TV, you know who you are. Trust me, your libido is going to go low. It's going to go low because those are suckening devices. The energy field of our technology of social media and our phones and everyone texting us and feeling like we have to text back immediately or someone's going to be mad. And we watch the news, and before we even had our coffee in the morning or before we even had any meditation in the morning, we're bombarded by news of genocide and horrible things happening around the world. Information is like rummaging through our heads at fast speed through these devices, through our TVs and through our phones, and we wonder why we don't feel sexual. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? So we get to slow down the scroll, turn off the TV, turn inward, get out into nature. We get to really dive into some common sense here. We're not broken. We're loaded with anxiety and low libido because of this technology. Where can we like stop this addiction? Because it is an addiction, turn it off and get out into nature. Trust me, the more you get out in nature and turn off your social media, turn off the TV, turn off the news, you'll find that your libido might come back. And the same goes for your partner, they need to also do it. And the libido will come back. This energy flow will come back. And also listening to your libido. Where do you need to have some tough, clearing conversations with your partner? Maybe you can't just go into sexual activity anymore. Your body's saying no. You need to have some clearing. There needs to be some forgiveness. There needs to be some deeper conversations. You need to speak your truth. You need to hear sorry, right? You need to shift up some patterns in your relationship and the libido will come back online. So I just want to speak to these things because what I've noticed is as I've been diving into really looking at all the people pleasing that I've done, I always thought that I was somebody who didn't self abandon, but I realized that there's this part of me that still was. And it was coming in small ways where I wanted to honor my parents or I wanted to honor my husband's parents. And I didn't want to not come to a certain holiday with them because I knew it was important to them. And I didn't want to buck tradition and I didn't want to hurt someone's feelings, but it wasn't true for me anymore. It wasn't my truth and my highest expression during my break, during my time with my own family to be in that environment anymore. And I was noticing how I've kept friendships or given more to friendships where I've said yes to certain events that I really wanted to say no to. I've kept certain traditions that don't work for me anymore just because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And all of that is a form of people pleasing and self abandonment. And so here I was really working and looking at that and really releasing that. I don't have to hurt someone's feeling as I choose myself. They get to decide if it hurts their feelings, but I'm not going to self abandon anymore. I'm not going to be around friends that talk bad about other people. I'm not going to be around friends that I know talk bad about me. I'm not going to be around friends that actually don't champion me and champion my visions. You know, those friends that they secretly tell you they're their friend and they love being there for you in your lows of lows. But when you're in your highs of highs and something really good's going on for you, they're really not there and they're really not that excited for you. And they don't really comment on your social and they don't really reach out to you and congratulate you or check in on you. That's not a real friend. But we hold on to these people because we've held on to them before, or we've given to them before, or they've given to us sometime in years and years in the past. And we feel like we have to keep holding on. We get to let go of these things, these people, these experiences because they're not serving our highest well being. And I've been working on that through journaling, through meditation, through self love practices where I stare at myself deep in my eyes and I say loving words. And I've noticed that the ceiling is cracking. This glass ceiling of what was comfortable is no longer comfortable. And this is an up leveling that happens. But what happens with the ego, what happens with the mind when you're up leveling like this and you're changing up patterns and you're doing the inner work and you're clearing out trauma is it will often call you back. And it looks like coming at you at 3 or 5 in the morning and telling you what an awful person you are and that you should be stressed and that what you said was wrong and that you holding your boundary was wrong. And oh no, everything's going to collapse and I'm going to be a horrible person and I'm selfish and blah, blah, blah. It will do that. It will try to pull you back. This is just an offering for you to go deeper and to unleash and unhook from these old patterns. It's just an offering to say, okay, there's still a little bit more residue here of me still trying to people please. Now, all I need to do is tell it, thank you. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. Thank you for, helping me in the past, but now I am up leveling and you're going to need to sit in the back seat or I'm going to have to put you in the garbage. And you communicate with that part of your brain, that ego self that is trying to hold you into older patterns and tell you that you're an awful person when you know you are healing and you know you are up leveling. This happens to all of us. It doesn't matter who you are. The other thing I want to talk about is social media. This is getting faker by the day. It was always kind of fake. It was almost always everybody's highlight reel. No one wanted to put anything depressing there. So it was like your favorite date or your favorite vacation or the photo that makes you look amazing. And some of them were filtered. And it's just this fake space that we watch. And we then have reason to think our life sucks because everyone else's life looks amazing. Well, social media has taken it up a notch. It's always been that way, but now we've got AI where things are being shared on there that are actually not even real. They're fabricated through AI. And it's trying to now the algorithm is also filtrating to you and knows you better than you probably even know yourself. And it's filtering only information to you of something that you have clicked on, thinking that that's what you believe. And so it's going to give you more of that to make you think you believe it even more. Think political, think spiritual beliefs, religious beliefs, anything that you maybe clicked on and watched, it's going to give you more of that, making you think that that's the only truth. And then it keeps you feeling separated from other people. It's really important to understand what's going on, that we are in this simulation and we have to break free, pull away from social media. I'm speaking to this because I've noticed I'd had addiction to it. I started social media using it for my business. So I would get on to check to see if people had commented or if I needed to address something on social media through some workshop I was doing, even though I have a team that can do that. And then I get sucked into the algorithm of social media. I got sucked into seeing what everybody else is doing in the world. And I could also see how I was getting sucked into believing that my truths were the only truths when it's just an algorithm at play. And that's why we feel so separated from other people, or we feel less than, and we feel low libido. We feel exhausted because it's literally siphoning our energy. It's conjuring up emotion and then extracting it from our bodies to where we feel exhausted. So I want to make an invitation to you to really look at social media for what it is, fake news, and maybe even looking at the news that comes on your TV tube and say that's fake news. They're also siphoning your energy because they conjure up an emotion telling you the horrific things that are going on in the world because that's what gets views. And you're not actually getting the full filament of the truth. And at this point in the name of the game is I don't know if I would believe very much on the news, no matter what station you're watching. doesn't matter what you're watching because most of it is not the full truth. Same with reality TV. It's not, a lot of it's fabricated to get you pulled in. Be very careful with this. And it's taking your energy. So let's pull away from that and get back into nature, get back into slowing down, get back into conversations with people we love and hanging out with people that lift us up and buoy us up and make us feel good and doing things that actually make you feel good. Writing out what brings me joy. What brings me actual joy? Writing a whole list of those ideas of what bring you joy, not what you think should bring you joy, but what actually brings you joy. Long lasting joy, not a stimulus hit, but joy. And then choosing every day to do at least one of those things. If you can do more, great. And really going, where can I find joy in the simple things and the natural pleasures of life? I just recently unplugged from the matrix, I call it, which we call it off gridding. And that's where we go up in camp where self services don't work. You don't have a computer, your phone doesn't work, and just be in nature for a few days. And I'm telling you, I don't know why anyone needs big medicine and therapy bills because just trying that for the mass population of just getting off the grid where your phone doesn't work and sitting in nature for a few days is massive, massive medicine. It might take you at least 36 hours, maybe 72 hours, especially if you're really wired up, to really let your adrenals relax, to let your nervous system relax. It could take you a few days before it will drop down. So if you need to take a week, take a week. The greatest medicine you can do, and it's not expensive to camp. That's what's so cool is you can just go and camp, like sleep in your car, grab a tent. You're safer than you realize. Honestly, I think nature's safer than any city. So go get off grid. If you're really feeling off, you're feeling dysregulated, you're feeling confused, you're feeling maybe anxiety or even a slight depression, go off grid, get into nature, plug into her medicine, walk in her trees, listen to her birds and her songs, get into the cold rivers. Yes, get into the cold rivers and just let yourself bathe in that medicine. I'm telling you, I want to hear back from you for anyone who goes and does that. I'm going to start doing it more often. I always had a goal to do it, once a year, but I think I'm gonna do it like 3 or 4 times a year now. I just feel like everything's turning up a dial. All of the information that we're bombarded with and all of the energy swirling in these 5G world we live in and these synthetic fibers we're wearing, I just wanna plug in deeper and deeper to the truth, which is nature, which is things that grow naturally, like our breath when we breathe. It's all natural, reminding me of the human inside of me, reminding you of the human inside of you, and this connection to something higher and greater. I love you so much. I just want you to know you're not alone in all these emotions and that there is a way to work with it and to connect deeper within yourself and with a higher power. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of this show, this family, and for being someone that chooses to see the light, that chooses to still heal no matter what your past is, no matter what you're going through, choosing to love, choosing kindness to others when they're maybe not giving you kindness back, just choosing that light. Thank you so much for who you are. And I'll see you on the next episode.